where you can retire U.S. flags properly. The Township of Washington Ambulance Corps is looking for volunteers. If you can volunteer, please call WTVAC headquarters at 201-664-3784. Leave a message and either President Bob Ehlers or Captain Trevor Landau will return your call. Our next council meeting will be held on August 14th at 6:30 p.m. Okay, we have no approval of minutes, and the mayor, you have some appointments. Just a couple.
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out for these great appointments. As usual, I'll let the chief talk and give background on both of these fine gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just to start off, I would like to thank the mayor and the council for allowing us to be here, allowing us to make these promotions. And also, as we promote supervisors, there's required training, and the mayor and the council always support us in those efforts too. So thank you. I'd also like to thank our police director, Jim Giblin, who is on vacation. Kind of tough when we make promotions in July because there's a few people that can't be here. I do want to thank Mr. DiCarlo too for running a tight ship on the whole town level. We're going to promote 2 officers tonight. Kind of a special day for me because I've known these officers pretty much since they were kids. They're both homegrown guys from town, and it just means a lot. So we're going to promote Corporal Chris Ozenbrook tonight and Corporal Clayton Kenny. So we're going to start with Chris. Chris is a lifelong resident of the Township of Washington, where he currently resides with his wife, Jennifer, and his 2 sons, Nicholas and Matthew. You ready, boys? All right, good. Chris started here as a dispatcher at the department. He graduated from the Bergen County Police Academy, class number 113. He's a member of our traffic unit. He's a resiliency officer. He's a TAC officer, which is terminal access control. In other words, he does a lot of our computer work and a lot of the intricate systems that we run. Chris actually assisted us many years ago starting a civilian dispatch program here when he was very new. Essentially, anytime we need something done, and I'm like, I need a young, energetic guy to get this done, I give it to Chris, and he runs with it. Chris started our cop card program. He's also an EVOC instructor, which means he's a driving instructor and a radar instructor. He's now assisting Sergeant Fasciano with the accreditation process. And Chris is very proactive on patrol. Chris has 4 life-saving awards, including a very special one where he was honored by the 200 Club recently. Chris has also started our Safety Township program, which is a program we run cooperative with the library for young kids to introduce them to the police, fire, and ambulance, which is great. So as I'm looking back there, I also do want to welcome members of the fire department and, of course, the members of our department that came to support out their brother officers. So again, I just wanted to say how special it is to have Chris up here. And with that, we are going to call Chris's family up to swear him in.
Left hand on the Bible. I, Christopher Ozenbrook, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New
of
Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and
established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I do solemnly swear
and that I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties of Corporal, Police Department,
in the Township of Washington,
in the Township of Washington,
in the County of
in
Bergen,
the County of Bergen,
in the State of New
in
Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me
so
God.
help me God.
Chris was also one of my high school DARE students when I was a school resource officer, so that's kind of special too. Clay is too young to be one of my DARE students, but both his brothers were in my DARE class, and I've known his dad for probably 25 years also. So Clay was hired by the Township of Washington Police Department in 2018 after he had already worked for the department as a SLEO 1 officer and a dispatcher. He's currently working patrol. He is the deputy coordinator of the Office of Emergency Management. He is a CPR instructor and a Naxalone instructor. Naxalone, of course, is the drug we administer for overdoses. And we've been successful with that thanks to his efforts and Lieutenant Roy Shera. He coordinates the OD map, which again goes back with the prescription take-back program. He also manages expungement requests by the department, and he helps coordinate with police academy training. He was recently appointed to the Bergen County Arson Task Force for the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office, which is a great assignment for him. And that'll give him a lot of additional training. He was awarded PBA 206's Apprehension Award just a little while back, and basically, you know, the amount of stolen cars we've had. So we had somebody running up and down the parkway through the woods. You'd be surprised how nimble Clay is. He went over several fences, through several bushes. He had like sticker bushes sticking out of his uniform when I got there, but he did apprehend that suspect, and he was given the award. And again, I've just want to thank the fire department for supporting him, and you know, the Kenny family, who I've known the better part of my life. I've known these guys the better part of it too. So without further ado, come on up, Clay.
I
Clay Kenny,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I do solemnly swear
and that I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of Corporal Police Department
in the Township of Washington,
in the Township of Washington,
in the County of
in
Bergen,
the County of Bergen,
in the State of New
in
Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Rich, you got anything else?
Come over here, Matt.
Don't run.
Again, I just want to thank everybody, and I didn't see Mrs. Kenny up a couple rows up in front. Known her for a very long time too, and every time I get to visit George School, instead of seeing her kids now, I see her there, which is even better. Again, just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Makes me so happy to see the department moving forward, and you know, these guys are the future leaders of our department, along with all the gentlemen you see across the back row. So thank you very much, and hope you all have a safe evening.
Congratulations to both of you. On behalf of the council, thank you for your service. Thank you. Oh, this is our baby. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good luck. Enjoy. Be safe out there. Congratulations.
Everybody, how you getting this clearly? Well, it's a good, they're real cool in here. Good.
This is for Anthony's presentation, sorry.
Thank you.
I want to remind them 3 days. Oh, it's coming here.
I know.
Close the door.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. What? Oh, let me see. Let me see. I'm just going to double check to see if WCTV can see what you put up. I'll double check.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you there. Yes.
What's her name?
To come and check the batteries in the smoke detectors.
It would be easier to set up
They used to, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll check and find out for you.
Yeah.
over here.
Okay, yeah. I'll find out.
Yeah, it would
Okay,
be.
Rose.
But if you can zoom in
I'll
on
make
it,
a
they
note
can
right
see it
now.
on the big
It's
screen.
called-
How you doing, Rose? Everything's good?
Oh, because he's using it from this camera here?
Maybe. Let's see. Is the, he might be able to zoom in. He might be able to zoom in.
Yes, that works fine from there. Okay, great. Ready again. Okay. All right, and we are gonna, we're gonna move forward with the police department study. We have Mr. Anthony Iovino from Arcari and Iovino Architects.
Thank you. A couple of months back, we were authorized to take a look at the police department to see how we could put it into compliance with the Department of Corrections requirements. The particular issues are about prisoner handling and the safety of the officers and the safety of the public. we do know that the existing building, the existing police department, which is adjacent to the space we're in here, it's not fully ADA compliant, and it certainly doesn't comply with those state regulations. In the letter that you have there in front of you, which is really tonight for me, this is explaining to you our preliminary findings and to try and get some feel for which direction you'd like us perhaps to pursue further. So in this two-page letter that you have there, and I know you haven't had a chance to read it, but in summary, to me, there are three logical things we can do. One is to expand the facility that we have here. Two would be to put it off-site completely, like we had looked at a year or so ago. And three would be, what can we do on the property we have? So we started with the first option of what can we do to the existing building? From the survey data that we have, the property line, which is just behind this wall, is only about 16 feet past the building. And it's actually irregular, so it's 16 to 18. So I know from that, I can't put all of the items that need to be on the ground floor here, right? So what I'm talking about there is all of the prisoner handling and the public interface. So even the space that you have now, you have a lobby, and you come into there and there's nowhere else to go, right? The state looks for a soft interview room if you have a domestic dispute. One partner might come in through the sally port, which you don't have, and the other would come in through the front. It would be in that soft interview room. Or if it's a juvenile, that they wouldn't come into the hard part of the police department, they'd be in the soft interview room. As well, the state wants to see a public bathroom out there so that somebody in your lobby waiting or somebody in that soft interview room wouldn't have to come into the secure part of the police department. So my point being is that even the existing building as it is would be hard to just deal with the lobby within the 16 feet that you have. So my next step there was to take a look at what we can do if there was no property line. And I'm not saying that we should be taking property or buying property. It was an exercise as an architect. I just wanted to see what could be done. And so the graphic that you have there, which is on this board here, the top two images, top left is an aerial of what exists now. The image in the center is the town hall. In this case, south is at the top of the sheet. This structure here is the adjacent residence, right? Pascack Road is at the left side of that image. All of these images are in that same orientation. The graphic at the top right is the existing police department. That's what you see here with the solid walls. The rest of the borough hall wraps around it. This dot dash line is the property line going to Hudson and the parking lot, and Pascack would be on the side. What you see on the images below is what we think we can do to meet the Department of Corrections requirements. So if I look at the bottom right image, the area that's in blue is the addition that would be tacked on to this existing building. In a nutshell, we would need probably another 16, 18 feet beyond the property line. And what you see in the image in the lower left is that same blue area superimposed over that aerial. So in the sheet you have in front of you, and I apologize to everybody behind me that you can't really see this right now, but it wouldn't interfere with the home if you were to consider doing, or making a friendly purchase or anything like that. It's feasible. That's what I was after. It's feasible physically, whether you want to pursue that or not. That's option.
Repeat that piece again?
That I wanted to prove that it physically could be built by absorbing some property or purchasing some property next door.
Okay.
But it's not ideal because it's not your property and that's a lengthy process.
Right.
So the next thing I looked at, knowing that the offsite was already exhausted already, was what could we do here? Now we were in the middle of, and are in the middle of the DPW garage and offices, designing that. So when we got to this point, I put that in sort of a hold position because I didn't want to continue with that, knowing that this second option that I want to talk about tonight is the idea that we build the DPW garage, but instead of the DPW offices and support spaces going above it, we put the police spaces there, and the DPW takes over their offices and such, like they're in this building now, take over the vacated police department. That has some other potential benefits in that I know the judges' quarters here aren't exactly kosher per the county regs. We might have some leeway to do something about that. There is a lot of space below us that is storage for the police department, that could be storage for borough records and such. So I'm just feeling it out for what could be done. The downside of it is I need more footprint, right? The current garage that we're designing is 5 bays and stairs that go up to the spaces above. In this case, I need those prisoner handling elements at the street level. So this building, on this graphic here, the left part of the bottom image is the 5 bays of the DPW garage as it's designed, plus a bar for the stair and elevator. And then the next 40 feet or so is police department. That would be the garage, the Sally Port garage, the prisoner handling, the public interface. The rest of the police spaces would be up and above the DPW garage. So this has a bigger footprint than the current DPW garage. But it's another way that we can solve for the police department. And it's a trade of spaces. DPW comes here in terms of administrative and support spaces, showers, lockers, which already exist. And then the police department goes there in full compliance. So that was, to me, a logical investigation. This site is tight as it is, right? I mean, today when you had that event, it was tough to park. So no parking's a premium on this site. And I know objectively, I'd love to see more property, but every town has that issue right now here in Bergen County. So I think if this could fit on the property, and we believe it could, this would satisfy the police requirements and the DPW requirements. So this was really the bigger of the two options to explore. Now, in that document that was circulated, I looked at potential costs for this. If we expand, forgetting the price of any property or piece of property, I put that expansion and the renovation that would have to be tied to it at just about 1.5 million. So it's about 2,000 square feet of new space. I figured about 1,000 square feet of renovation for that. For this option here, where we combine DPW garage and police facilities, I see that as being about 8.5 million, but understanding that a chunk of that is the DPW garage, which we've already encumbered for that project. I believe that project we were targeting 4.85 or so. So this would be about 2.5 of that would be for the garage, the rest of this would be for the police. But this project, if we were to do it, is more expensive than the DPW garage as planned because of the bigger. Okay, so this would be about 8.5 in my opinion. And then that last option that we vetted out a while back was off-site somewhere else, cost of land, essentially 8 to 10,000 square feet of police space, and less than this because you're not building a garage, but cost of property. So this is the most achievable in the short term because you have the land. And it's a money issue, but you would solve all of the DPW issues and police issues. But you would also still be tight on parking. And that's where I am right now. And, I don't know that either option is super to go forward with, but they both work. But they have hurdles to get there. Like one is money, the other is property.
Council President?
Yes.
I'm kind of confused with your presentation because that's not what the council asked for. We asked for, from this section over, strictly to go up that presentation. You're going above and beyond what we were actually asking for. And why would you combine the police and the DPW together because we already gone through the DPW and decided what we want. So I'm kind of confused on, we actually asked for a decision on the police wanted to put on this side and go up. So I don't understand why you're giving us all these options when we didn't ask for them.
Yeah, well,
I mean, did somebody ask for these options that the council didn't ask for?
no, to me, it's a logical investigation. This wasn't,
But the investigation was strictly for this part, not DPW, police, and buying property. So I'm kind of confused on, what direction you're going, because we didn't ask for that direction.
Councilman, I was under the impression that it was to study what is feasible to.
Well, yeah, it was this section,
Okay. Well-
Thank you.
No, you're welcome, but please, one thing I want to point out too is that we wouldn't be going up in that sliver. Cost of the ADA, anytime we go up with a public building, we're gonna end up with elevators and of course our stairs are far, but we don't have the room for any of that in the 16 or 18 feet on the side of this building.
So just because I'm naive to architecture, I can just tell you like in my head how it makes sense. Understanding that in current state, we don't have the ability to put an elevator in if we were adding in that space. But what if everything inside the police department was reconfigured in the current building? We'd have more than enough room to reconfigure a space for elevators, no?
But the elevator is the least of the issues, right? It's the things you don't have now, right? The Sally Port garage, the prisoner processing area, you have cells downstairs, those cells would come up. We need an interview room within the processing area. You have rooms that double and triple, that in a new building you would be allowed to do from the Department of Corrections perspective. So those elements, yes, we do have extra area below where we're standing right now. There's no windows or anything like that, but that has a purpose, but not for the prisoner handling.
No, I understand that. So I think what I was thinking was like reusing the space differently.
Mhm.
So if we were to clean the slate and wipe everything out, basically what we commonly use this room for would no longer be, right? So where we couldn't keep a prisoner downstairs, maybe that's where the offices are. Or, and so then where everything that needs to be on the first floor, what's currently there now would no longer be on that floor. That could be in different floors. That was my thought, kind of repurposing the space we currently have.
Right, but stepping outside of the police department's territory, I mean, even this room.
Yeah. That's what,
Well, if I guess if we had to, again, I'm
It was also my understanding that the Sally Port would be here and the jail would be right here. They would have a,
door to get to it.
yeah, I mean, that was the discussion. So I'm kind of confused on where you got all this other.
Well, even if we're just focusing on this element right now, that's how I started that exercise, right? Councilman, it was, understanding where my property line is and what I could do there, right? So the Sally Port garage itself, ideally I need about 18 feet as a minimum, and that's the width of the property that's there. And I have to get past it and through it. So it just doesn't fit within the property that you have in this sliver right now. There needs to be more in order to make that work. I did not look past the physical limit of the police department to say, what if this is available? Because I know, upstairs in the senior area, there's meeting space available too, but if you displace this, it has to go somewhere.
Mhm.
And that's, I didn't have that as an option.
I wasn't necessarily even considering this room. I honestly, in my mind, I was thinking flipping
Right.
the use of what we currently have. If the offices are all on the ground floor, well, make them in the basement and move up whatever's in the basement that you need up on the ground floor. So that's kind of what I meant. I wasn't really considering this room, and that's just that's where I'm thinking explore, think outside the box maybe and explore options that are, I know we're thinking adding on, we're still picturing the use of those rooms and how they work And we can't have a prisoner downstairs because of the long stairs. So move the cells upstairs, and whatever that displaces, maybe that's something that can go downstairs. You know, that the fact it doesn't have a window, as I don't know if that's a fire code. I'll tell you, I don't have a window in my office. So I don't know if that's something that's necessary or it's like a nice to have or a need to have. And that's where my, I'm a little bit naive to that code, but I think working within our footprint currently and just kind of flipping the uses of the rooms is really what I was thinking. I probably wasn't very clear about that, so I apologize.
No, listen, that's okay. That's why I'm not coming here saying this is the final of anything. I need feedback.
Yeah.
We haven't had the chance to do this, right? So I need that. I want to learn from that, right? And I'll certainly look at that. I know immediately what it is that the office spaces would be then in the basement.
Right.
So, but I will chase that through and see if we can get that to work. Because I know, believe me, the minute I was thinking there's not enough property and it's not going to be real.
Right.
So I'll look at what we can absolutely do within that footprint and stop there.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else have any?
No, I'm kind of on the same link. I mean, for me, you can go all the way to the property line. Here's the problem. Whenever you looking to acquire property, it's a drawn out, arduous issue. And I think that's really that we've run into it numerous times on the council, and we don't want to go, I personally don't want to go there. But I think what Desiree was saying is we were anticipating, we knew there was going to be some type of expansion just because of the Sally Port alone. And which is okay. And I think the Sally Port could fit into that area the way it's drawn out. Looks like we had enough space, or we need to acquire very little property for that. And I understand everything has to be contiguous with the Sally Port and on one ground level. And you have two rooms here in the township that are infrequently used. This room specifically, okay, and the senior center. And I don't want to take anything away from the senior center, but I think it might be better to look at a little bit more efficient use of what we have. Again, I don't mind expanding to the property line. I think that's a good idea. We do have some length going back towards Pascack. So I think it's doable with slight expansion. I think, as Desiree said, rig and figure what we have. Move the stuff that's required on ground level and the stuff that's not required on ground level, like offices and whatnot, and in another level.
Would you be opposed to me just exploring shifting this room?
I have no problem with that.
No, I think the more options, and I'm going to say this on record so that I don't make you do work and yell at you for doing it. Sorry. I think the more options we have, the better.
Okay.
As far as that goes, as far as, within here. Yeah. As creative as you can possibly be.
Yeah, because I had my staff, there were no blueprints of this building. So when we came to measure that, I had asked them to measure the other parts of this floor at least, so I know what the building's about. It's been added onto so many times, it's hard to visualize where you are.
We have no blueprints of this facility.
No, I mean, it's.
Okay.
Well, it's a gorgeous building. I've always thought that. The first time I walked in here 17 years ago, it's even then it wasn't what it is now, but it is a beautiful building. So I would love to keep the
It's going to be done in the fall.
beauty of it. The stairs are gorgeous, everything.
If you find any prints, please.
Okay.
But we,
I'm surprised by that.
He didn't freehand it, so.
I think it's a fair question to ask, though, if we're going to take this room, to say, Desiree, like we don't want him doing work that doesn't work, where are we going to put the things that happen in this room? There's planning meetings, zoning meetings, council meetings, 2 elections a year. Those are the ones I can think of right off the top of my head.
Oh, I don't think anyone means to take it and absorb it. I think you mean to
Utilize.
take some of.
Yeah, you can take, don't need the whole room.
I had no intention on that. I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
that's what I was
No, I'm
getting.
not saying get rid of it. Obviously, we need council chambers for different functions.
Sure.
Right.
But, if we just, and again, I'm just a layperson, if you just kick this out, I'm anticipating maybe that's 10 feet to the property line and another 8 feet that you want to require. So we're looking at 10 feet. You kick that back out as far as you can, and the length of the building, because that does not go to the length of the building, right? Because you still have this large, looking at the print properly from here to there, and you kick that out 10 feet, that's got to be at least 400 square feet.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that, and 400 square feet is a significant amount of property, you know? And you know what, if you needed another 100 square feet, you have to move this wall over, or, you know, you've got to put
That's
two
what I was
offices
thinking.
over here,
Mhm.
you know, put a wall up, and we'll have to
That's
just
what I was
invite less
thinking.
people.
Yeah, that's, I want to make sure I was on the same page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Somewhere else, but.
No, but that's, you know, that's what we wanted, I think was envisioned, and that's what we
Yeah.
talked about as a whole, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Great,
great.
So thanks, I'm glad.
Yeah, you know, listen, it's a long process. You do your own house. How many times you say, I want this over here, and you know what? Every time after you have something new built, we should have done this, right? It
Yeah.
never fails.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, I think that's kind of what we talked about.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Musquehanna Sink, I they don't pronounce that.
Can you change the name?
What is it?
The Musquehanna Sink.
If I say M-Sink.
What?
M-Sink River.
Whatever you like. Whatever's easier.
Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Take
thanks
care.
for your efforts too. Everything was well done. I'm gonna really butcher this, but I'm gonna try. Next we have Mr. Rossi from Boswell Engineering, and we're gonna discuss the Musquehanna Brook.
M-Sink. Just go
It's
M-Sink.
absolute.
M-Sink.
Musquehanna Brook. If anyone else knows how to say that, please. The M-Sink Brook,
M-Sink.
droning. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Frank Rossi from Boswell Engineering. I head the environmental department at Boswell Engineering for about 40 years, and I've been doing these streams for about the same length of time, including the Musquehanna Sink, the Pascack, and all the other streams related to this. Our office was asked or commissioned to evaluate with a drone flight the Musquehanna Brook and the conditions that we find in it, and what's causing various issues throughout the brook, shoal and sediment deposition and down trees and bank erosion and stuff like that. And I don't know if you want to go page by page, or you just want me to give you a general overview of what has taken place in the brook. That's up to you.
So actually, I wanted to, if you guys can chime in if you'd like, but I did want to have a general overview because I do think that this conversation is going to need to be much larger, where there's a question and answer component to it. And I think having you explain it twice like that is going to have no value. So if you could just give us an overview basically
Okay.
of what you found. Do you agree?
Okay. Short and sweet.
Thank you.
What we found is, due to all the storms we've had, there are a lot of down trees in the brook. Whenever you start getting down trees, it diverts the water and it starts eroding the banks of the brook, which causes sediment shoals or large, and then it diverts the water. And you start getting, the brook becomes larger. And what happens is, as you destabilize the channel, you're going to get what they call a change in geomorphology of the channel or the stream dynamics. So the channel is always trying to keep a same sinuosity. That's what it likes to do. It likes to travel like this. When you start blocking trees in the way, it can't go nowhere, so it starts eroding the banks to try to make its own path. When you get that, you start building up sediment shoals at areas that don't have the same velocity, and now you get reduction in capacity of the channel. So now what's happening is, as you get the reduction of the capacity in the channel, you're going to get more and more frequent flooding at different places. And that's what ends up happening. So what we saw when we did the drone flight is a lot of storm damage, a lot of trees in the brook. Now, over the years, and I don't know if they still do it, the Bergen County Mosquito Commission used to remove all these trees from the brook, from one end all the way to the other. They would cut them up, throw them to the side, and remove the obstructions to flow. They were able to go in, grab them, and do it. As time evolved and the regulations got more stringent, they were kind of handcuffed to what they can do. So they left the stuff behind because it was too cumbersome to be able to obtain the permits to remove this material. A lot of people complained to the state of New Jersey, and they made some changes to the regulations. So now you cannot go in with machinery, but you can put a cable out there and pull the tree out of the brook. You could sit on a roadway, if it's not in a wetland, on a grass or something, you could drive up to. You can't cut woody vegetation, but you can go along the lawn, get as close as you can, remove that material from the brook. I think with the Musqueam right now, the most important thing is to remove these obstructions as quickly as possible. Now, once you remove these obstructions, you're going to get, again, movement of the sediment through the water course as you get these storms coming through. Now, the next thing would involve removing the sediment shoals that build up because of the erosion. Now, what's happening with the state of New Jersey, because Musqueam is a Category 1 water, they don't give you the advantage of getting general permits to do this work. So you have to get individual permits from the state to start dredging or doing bank stabilization projects. The next thing.
One quick question.
Sure.
And I don't want to go back and forth, but you need to talk about special permits. Special permits for the dredging or special permits for removal of trees?
Not the trees.
Not the trees, okay.
No,
My one
the
question.
trees you could probably do under a general permit, or you could do it as a maintenance requirement.
Gotcha.
That is not regulated. Okay, it's when you take a mechanical piece of equipment, backhoe, trackhoe, and you drive up to the channel, knocking down all the trees that are standing there. Now that becomes a permitted activity.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay. When you're dredging, you have to cut access areas in because those hard metal booms don't bend around trees. So you have to make clearances to get a machine in there to dredge to take the material out. Now, over the years, that wasn't a problem either because you had the Bergen County Mosquito Stream Clearance Division used to come in with a long reach, and they used to take those shoals out of there. You would get the permits, and they would, at their own expense, dig the material out. You would load it into trucks, probably either DPW trucks or county trucks, and we would put it in a location, and then the material would be, a lot of times, given away. People would take it because it's nice, sandy, beautiful material. As we evolved through the regulatory process, now it becomes much more complicated. The Mosquito Commission now does not have the manpower to do that anymore, but I'm told they will lend you the long reach if you want to use it. Some towns took them up on that offer. I know Montvale did. I know Upper Saddle River did. There might be a few other towns, but they happen to have DPW personnel that knew how to operate excavating equipment because his brother owns an excavation company, so he works with him on a Saturday, so he was able to use that equipment. Long reaches are very difficult to operate. Just imagine you're picking dirt up and you're loading a truck 65 feet away from you. So you have to have that skill of knowing how to do that, or you can hurt somebody or yourself or cause a lot of damage. So I'm told that the Mosquito Commission, like I said, would lend you the equipment. But as we evolve further and the regulations become more complicated, New Jersey just is coming out with a new regulation, which is called the Dirty Dirt Law. The Dirty Dirt Law requires all soils over 100 cubic yards to be tested for pollutants. When you start digging in streams and you start cleaning out shoals and you have decaying material, the requirements of PAHs, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, are down to 0.2 parts per million. So the chances of you finding your material to be contaminated are very, very good. okay, especially if you get any kind of road runoff going into the channel. So where before, this material that was beautiful, that contractors would take for fill, for septic systems, for a lot of things, can't do that anymore unless it's tested and it comes back clean. Now, if it's tested, and by the way, testing costs a lot of money. You're talking about anywhere, for 1,000 yards of soil, you're looking probably about anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 in testing. And then if you have contaminated soil, now you have to get rid of this pile. And when you convert that 1,000 yards into tons, you're looking at 1,500 tons. And then you multiply that by anywhere from $50 to $60 a ton. So now you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars to get rid of this dirt. Sometimes a lot of dirt, if you're dredging lakes or ponds or stuff, comes into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it makes it feasibly unaffordable to dredge this material. That's why you don't see a lot of people doing it, because there's no place to bring it except Pennsylvania. And that's the cheap stuff at $50 a ton. Of course, you know what fuel is going on. A lot of that goes to the trucks that have to drive out to Pennsylvania to dump the material. So it becomes very cumbersome now to try to do these stream cleaning projects. However, that being said, what we try to do now, and what I've seen has been a success, and even with the state of New Jersey, I've done work for the state of New Jersey. We take the streams, we assess them, and then we look at where the bank failures are. Then we recreate the banks, and we use the shoal material back to recreate the bank with maybe some kind of rock wall or stabilization wall. And we use that material behind it. Then we topsoil it, replant the area. And now that includes, now in the state, views that as a riparian restoration, which is a good thing. In the meantime, what that does, you can remove the shoals. If you don't take care of the problem, the shoals are going to come right back in 2-3 years, because it's just going to erode more of the bank and deposit the shoals in the same place. But if you fix the problem, head walls that you outlet your storm drains to, a lot of them are fallen, or, you know, they've collapsed, the pipes are gone. Fix the head walls, repair the stream, you know, the banks, use that material to stabilize the banks. It's still not cheap, okay? But sometimes there are programs available, especially this last go-round where we had Ida. There was money available. People put a lot of claims in, through not only through FEMA, but through the NRCS. It's another group. And we just did a project in Closter. It was about maybe, I think, 500, 600 feet. And we restabilized the whole channel. Category 1 water was the Doorskill. We created these rock walls. We used all the material as backfill. We planted the whole corridor. DEP was on board with it, gave us 2 individual permits for it. And NRCS picked up around 260,000 of the $484,000 that it cost. But now, of course, the residents are happy. The water is flowing and it's creating a lot less problems. In fact, people tend to send me videos when we get the storms. Look, it's working. So it does work. But that's kind of what you're going to have to look toward. Don't waste your money trying to dredge without fixing the problem, because the cost is just not worth it anymore. Fix the head walls, stabilize the banks, and then use that material the best you can and plant it up. And that's the long and short of it.
Thank you.
Questions?
Question?
We are going to have questions, but I do, council can ask questions, but we are going to have a special meeting for township, for residents to come and really ask questions as you break into it. So.
You can go.
No,
Yeah, I guess my question is, when you remove the encumbrance, the trees or whatever debris is there, you know, you're going to pick up velocity, right? And when you pick up the velocity, you're going to increase the, going to be less sediment, and your channels could become deeper every time, because it's not being diverted outside of the banks of the tributary, right? So how often does it happen when we remove the debris that basically self-cleans?
What happens is, once you remove the trees,
Right.
you are going to get a different flow pattern.
Correct.
For it to self-clean itself at this point, once it has a couple feet of sediment in it, it's not going to happen. Once you've came up with a program and you worked bottom up and started working on the streams, you're going to move everything out of the way. It will eventually self-clean, but you're still going to have deposits of shoals
Right.
because it's always got to try to get back to its stabilized manner. Like the stream will always constantly try to create its own sinuosity till it becomes stable. What happens is when you're in a developed area like this, every time you introduce a bridge, a head wall, a discharge, you're now changing the natural stabilization of this channel. So you're changing all of the geomorphology of the channel, so it's going to do different things. The idea behind it is to use some hard treatment, boulders, bioengineering, in areas that you pick that are subjected to high erosion or high velocity,
Right.
and try to knock that out. But you have to be careful with that because it acts like if you're playing pool. If you hit that pool at the bumper, it's going to go to the next side. So you got to make sure that you stabilize this section and this section. So what we do is we calculate where that velocity is going to move to, and then we treat that area. So you'll see we'll either have a boulder row or we'll have a tiered wall system. If you have a high bank that's now used to be like this in the middle of the brook, and now you have something like this where it's been head cut at the bottom. Now we build a tier system here and we claim that back and we push that stream where it's got to go. So we kind of force it to do what it wants to do to the best that we can.
Yeah, but, okay, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. And what I was really getting at, I wasn't really talking about not doing the banking. You know, I'm saying once you do all those things, and you keep the stream from collecting new debris, trees and vegetation and whatnot, it should self-clean.
No.
You still have to dredge.
You still have to remove the heavier shoals out of the channel that have been collected because of it being, it's not going to push that.
That I understand, but I'm saying once you take care of the shoals, okay, you're basically going to take sand from one spot, you're going to put it on a bank.
Right.
You're going to reinforce that with either vegetation
Right.
or hard
Then it
material,
starts to
right?
self-clean.
And then it self-cleans. That's what I was asking.
Correct.
So I just wanted to make sure.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Tom?
Yeah.
you had a question? too?
May I?
Yes,
Oh.
just make sure when you speak, you're speaking into the
Oh.
microphone. Yeah. Okay.
In your report, well, not your report, in your
No,
report.
that's fine.
Okay, have you pinpointed spots of erosion that needs to be immediately addressed?
Yes, we have.
And it's in this
It's
presentation?
in that book, yep.
All right.
If you read through there, we actually not only pinpointed it, but we also, I think we put a marker on it. And
I
we told
see
you
some of the markers.
what you need to do in those areas and the urgency of certain areas that need to be done.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I might have read it wrong, but, okay, thank you, sir.
Council President, may I ask?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi, say we were going to move forward with the permitting, the requesting the permits through DEP, and we started tomorrow. How lengthy of a process is that?
Depending upon what you're going to propose to do, okay? Depends on the length of the channel that you're going to try to stabilize. And what kind of hard treatment you're putting in there, whether you need a hardship waiver. All in all, the process takes anywhere from 6 to 9 months, sometimes a year, depending upon if you get into an arguing position with the DEP if they don't feel something is warranted. But we justify that by performing hydraulic evaluations. So at this point, at this stage of the game, I know what they look for. So we got the process down to about 6 to 9 months.
And just to follow up on Mr. Sears' question, on the conclusions page on that second paragraph, it talks about critical sanitary issue 7-1. Council, if you don't mind going to that, just so I can show
What
you.
page you on, Mark?
It doesn't have a page number. You got to look up at the top under project name, council, and you'll see section 1, 2, 3, 4. all the way down to section 1.
Yeah.
And then you'll see, it actually says photo number 3, but it says critical sanitary issue 7-1.
Which one are you
You're not
looking
going
for?
Is it before
You're,
A?
you're in section A.
Okay.
Section 7.
We're all, you see all the pictures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So if you go towards the back of section A, you'll come to Squapsink Brook Condition Assessment, section 7.
Are you talking about the conclusion page?
No, well, I was referring to the conclusion page first. The page is going to look like this.
Okay. This page here.
No, but you're going to go to
A lot of
section
pages look
7.
like that.
Oh,
Mark.
7, okay.
A lot of pages look like that. What page?
The bottom, it should have a page
7?
number.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's section 7, but page 2 of section 7.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, okay. Did you guys find it? I found
Yeah,
it.
these two.
Yeah,
Yeah. mhm.
right.
Page 2.
Got it.
Got it?
I was
This page here.
coming.
Correct.
I don't,
Wait, wait.
did I write this for you?
I have this. Some of you guys have?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could do that either one, but I was looking at the section. So, my question is, that's a critical issue that's on there.
Yes.
Your experience with dealing with this, would
Well-
BCUA have any level of responsibility in assisting with?
Is this a municipal line or is this a Bergen County trunk line? I thought this is a municipal line.
Would it say it on the cap?
It would probably have it on your sewer map.
I thought it was Bergen County.
Because the reason why I think it's not that big of a pipe.
Well, maybe you could answer the question in general, even if it's not
I
this
can answer it in
specific.
general. If it is Bergen County, I would notify them immediately and they would probably come out and do something about it. If you go on Route 17 southbound in Ridgewood area and you look to the right, you'll see all stone along the bank of a river. That was the same situation that they had here. So they would probably come out and take care of that because let me tell you something. If that fails during a storm, you're going to flood them down there.
Oh,
Not only that, the whole sanitary system is going to flood. You're going to
Okay,
have
so-
manholes popping and it could be a real big problem.
Okay, so that's a call we're making tomorrow, right? It's that urgent.
Yeah?
It's a sanitary line, correct?
It's a sanitary,
Yeah, not
there's no
stormwater.
question it's a sanitary line.
But there are stormwater lines along the bank as well.
Right, but this one was identified as, in fact, I'm trying to see if we gave you more information on that.
Oh, so I see you're saying, Mr. DeCarlo, the next page shows a different view of it.
Just a bank.
Across the,
Well, that's
across the bank.
that's a different
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
There's also two, I would say, 12-inch pipes going alongside of that also. I don't know if you actually saw them.
I did not, I was not out there, this was a drone flight, but this is-
Okay.
came back as critical. If you look on page 5, section 7, 2 critical sanitary issues were identified and need to be addressed immediately. Critical sanitary issue 7-1 is located within the bank stabilization area. 7-2, this bank erosion spans approximately 185 feet, exposing the manhole to the water course on 3 sides with nothing protecting the concrete structure. Critical sanitary issue 7.2 is located within bank stabilization area 7-6, with a single side of the manhole structure being exposed to the waterway.
Would, Council President, may I ask the
Yeah.
mayor, would it be advised that maybe you meet us tomorrow out there to take a quick look at it?
Yeah, we can.
Would that be, Mr. Administrator, would you be available 11 a.m.,
And I have
12?
to check. I might be able to get the gentleman that did the drone flight
Okay.
out there with you. So I think
I mean,
tomorrow.
this way we would definitely know exactly what type of piping it is.
I personally won't be available tomorrow. I have a.
Well, I can
personal
meet them.
matter.
I mean, if it's just a visual, I don't have a problem.
I can go with you, Tom.
Do you,
So, Mr. Mayor, would you oppose that?
But it would, I'm sorry. It would show on the county map if that's theirs or not, right?
Yeah, it would show on the county map, and also would show on your SOAR map. If you have, do you have sanitary SOAR maps in town?
Yeah.
If you
Well,
pull the sanitary map, it would identify whether
Okay.
it's a BC line.
I'd maybe like to switch it to Wednesday, because then it could give whoever at Boswell, since you have all of our sewer maps, tomorrow to identify.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
think getting a real visual of this,
Mhm.
see what's on that plate head,
Right.
and definitely will, if it's critical, I mean, we
It's,
should, yeah,
I definitely think you should take care of that. It could
I mean,
create
I'll- available any day, time, Wednesday. I know
Okay.
Steve's done with school, so you're available.
I can do it in the morning.
If you want, I mean, I could have Jimmy, who did this, come out there and bring you guys right to it. Problem is, at this stage of the game, it might be heavily vegetated right now. and difficult.
Trust me, it's not heavy vegetated.
Oh, it's not? Okay. Okay, then I'll have him meet you and go out and go.
Just, could you work through the administrator?
I will.
Be the single point of contact?
Let's go tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark.
You got it, sir.
The sewer cap for the sanitary line, the picture doesn't have any writing. It doesn't look like it.
Frank, what do you
Madam-
think would
Madam
be our
President,
best
can you
way
ask-
of
All right,
identifying?
we'd have to, hang on one second, hold on. One, no, we're not going to speak from the seats, although I do appreciate that information. One person, please speak at a time. Go ahead.
What do you think is the best way and quickest way and most accurate way for us to identify?
BCUA usually has BCUA on their manholes.
Okay.
But if it's real old, it might not have it. And the thing with this manhole, it really should have a watertight locking cover on it. So if it doesn't, whoever owns it should have the cover replaced immediately on top of there so that, and it shouldn't have vent holes in it because it's in a floodplain.
So let me ask you this, say it's Washington Townships and it needs to be addressed immediately. What do we do? Do they allow an exception to that 6 to 9 month?
You can, in a case like this, we can make an argument for an emergency permit. And what you do is an emergency permit, we point that out, we take the pictures in here, we explain it to them. This is a no-brainer, trust me, they're not going to fight us on it. And then what we would do is we would see what that 185 feet is what we identified. That 185 feet would have to be stabilized somehow with a rock, something or other in the front, and then building that bank back. And of course, if there's a shoal within that 185 feet, we would steal that material.
And that's obviously within Boswell's.
Yeah, and we would put that as an emergency permit authorization. And that would allow us to do the work. We would have to be prepared to do that work within 30 days of their verbal authorization. And then they give us 60 to 90 days to complete it. And then we get the permit after the fact. We have to actually then apply for the permit with an as-built and give them all the same paperwork we would give them before.
Interesting.
So they require 90 days to complete the job, soup to nuts?
60.
Oh, 60.
Yeah, so it's 30 to start, 60
Oh,
to
okay,
complete.
I got you.
Okay, so obviously this is priority. And if you are going to go out and meet, tomorrow is the best.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday is the best day. Wednesday's an okay day. And then it's going to be storms throughout the rest of the week.
Let's go, you and I can go tomorrow, and maybe go again on Wednesday, just to check it. And can we get, can I ask clerk to get the SOAR map for us? Can you retrieve that, Sue?
Storm map.
So we know, so at least we'll have a map, and we can kind of tell by the map whose line it is.
And sir, I'm sorry, in the back row, if you could share that information with, after he's not at the podium, just what you were talking about, the cap not being there or whatever, if you could share that with Frank, that'd be great. Yeah. Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did promise everyone who was coming to hear the drone information that we would not have questions and answers tonight, that we would have a much more in-depth meeting specific to the findings. So I still want to do that.
So Council President, can we ask the clerk to try and pull that map for us?
Yes.
I heard you, I wrote the note.
Okay, just
I'm
checking.
sorry, I was
didn't-
too busy taking notes.
I know.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I will see what I can find.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Council President, can I ask a question or two and a statement also?
Sure, sure.
I want to say that the Pascack Valley Mayors Association hosted Frank at one of our recent meetings, and all the mayors were quite impressed with his knowledge. So I know we're getting, very good knowledge from him on this topic. They all respected his knowledge. Not looking to necessarily do away with the site visit, but does a sewer map tell us what we need to know?
It should tell you what you need to know. It should give a number on the manhole. You could also call BCUA too, down there, and tell them of the situation, and they'll let you know right away if it's their manhole.
Okay. And last question is, since you were at the mayor's meeting with your presentation to us, if we do all of this work within our town, it doesn't really affect what other towns do with their sections of the waterway, either before us or after us, does it?
No.
Okay.
What happens
That's what
is
I gathered, but I want everyone to hear that.
Before you, what happens is, let's say the next town up, I guess that would be Old Tappan coming down to you. If they didn't do anything, they claim they don't have a lot of issues there.
Right.
They claim their issues are more on the Hackensack.
Correct.
So it doesn't look like you're going to be getting a lot of deleterious material from them, except if it's down trees and stuff.
Right.
I mean, you're just going to have to keep up with that. I mean, that's the way it is. Down below, Westwood, here it comes.
Right.
So they're going to probably have to do something, which the mayor of Westwood is committed
He is.
to starting to do the work
Correct.
in his town, along with, his partnering with, I guess, Rivervale.
Correct. Yes. I understand.
So they have a lot of issues too.
Right.
And I could tell you this, I've been looking at this brook for
You said.
35 years. And this brook and the Pascack have always been a problem with down trees. For some reason, the trees are always, years ago you were able to prune and trim and, you're not allowed to do that. So what's happening is the ash trees that are dying and all the different elm disease that hit the Dutch elms, everything's coming down. And you got to be able to get the stuff out of here because that's what's creating the blockage of flow. So once Westwood starts their program and Washington Township starts a program, things should start getting better. And what you'll see is you're not going to see a reduction in the 100-year flood.
Right.
100-year, you're going to get flooded, okay? But you'll see the nuisance storms kind of disappear a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I mean, that's the advantage of it.
And I hope it doesn't get worse, but with this spotted lanternfly thing, that may affect more of these trees and have a tendency to kill them and end up in the brook.
Right, and it becomes an ongoing maintenance issue.
Right.
And the thing of it is this, what the state has now is, I don't know if you're familiar with it, if not, I'll let you know. Cushman Category 1 water, there's 300-foot buffers from the top of bank out in both directions of both top of bank, so the 600-foot swath. Technically, you're not supposed to cut any woody vegetation, that includes homeowners, within that 300 feet without getting a permit or being within the permit by rule, especially within the 150 feet. So what happens is we do these projects, we're putting back a tremendous amount of vegetation when we're doing a stream clearance. When I'm talking about that, we're talking about maybe anywhere from 50 to 60 trees, 400 to 500 different shrubs that go in there that get approved through the mitigation unit. And then this all gets put into the stream. Now, the more vegetation you have, the more it's going to hold the banks and the sediment. So as you get that runoff coming overland flow, it's going to be filtering that water out also and dropping that stuff out before it comes into the channel. So again, you're reducing your shoal production by stopping it from getting there. That's kind of the thought process behind the large riparian buffers, to try to filter that water before it gets into the channel.
Well, I can honestly say, Mr. Mayor, we've been pretty aggressive by taking those dead trees out of
Absolutely, yes.
the brooks. I mean, I know in one section, we took close to 29 trees out.
Wow.
And there's a couple other sections we've been pulling them out also, and that's with an extended boom and a cable,
Does the mosquito commission come up and
Mosquito Commission will not, let me put it this way, they will not take another tree out of a brook anywhere in the township or anywhere else. No manpower. They will allow you to use their extended boom if you have the person that has the certification. As a matter of fact, we used it just to break up a dam on the north end of town. Yeah, on the
think
north
so.
end of town.
Yeah.
Pull the tree out. And they allowed us to use that to pull it out.
Okay.
But that's as far as we can go doing anything else. But we've been pretty aggressive on removing trees.
that's the best thing right now
Yeah.
and the cheapest thing you can do to give you some relief.
Right.
So you come up with a program of, like Westwood, no, I'm sorry, not Westwood, Closter came up with a program. We have 8 projects going on of where the stream was head cut. It just scoured the stream out 3 feet. And now we're going back and we're rebuilding 8 sections of channel in different parts of town. Some FEMA's picking up the tab, some NRCS is picking up the tab. A lot of it, the borough is picking up the tab. So that's how they're doing it. But, they committed to doing it. It's working out for them.
Just one more question. It's probably outside your area of expertise, but the only dumb question is the one not asked. If this is an emergency, which it's looking like it is, do you know how municipalities fund this when it was not in our budget?
I've heard words like discretionary funds.
Okay.
Oh,
That's what I heard from other ones that we've done.
Fair enough.
They have discretionary funds.
Okay.
Like Oakland has a fund that they put aside and they call it the stormwater fund.
Mhm.
They put money in that every year.
Okay.
So, that's all I know.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, I got one more question. What is the NRCS? Because I'm unfamiliar with that.
National Resource Conservation Service,
And they are. what
part of
type?
the USDA.
USDA. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I already asked, by the way, for Washington Township for the sanitary line. And she told me we're too late. She said, we're out of money. So try again. So, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So can we discuss, I just want to discuss, sorry about that. I just want to discuss potentially, well, not potentially, definitely having a special meeting for the drone study for the residents that really wanted to come here tonight. I know a lot of them are Schlegel Lake members, have a ton of questions. And I know that there are other pockets of town that are interested. I see one person here right now who has an interest for sure in the flooding, but I know that there are a lot of others, and we would be here until 2 o'clock in the morning if we had a question and answer open forum at this meeting. So I do think it's important that we do our due diligence. We have our own special meeting to answer those questions. Because I think this study is incredible, and this is what they've all been waiting for. So can we have you at another meeting? All right, so the sooner, the better. Mr. Mayor, are you okay with that?
Yeah. I do want to point out, though, that the lake was not a part of this study. So any lake-specific questions, they will not be able to answer. They can answer, I
Yeah.
don't know what questions they may have upstream of the lake.
Right.
And I think you recapped it quite nicely, but they may want a little more detail on it.
They may have questions to ask that I didn't.
But I would put that out with the meeting invite to say, lake-specific questions, don't ask them, they will not be answered.
Well, what I'm going to try to do is have a representative for the Lake Association email questions ahead of time.
That'd be even better.
So that you have the opportunity to look at them.
Mhm.
They're not asking for, for you to have droned their lake, but definitely, I'm sure if I had to guess, is some of what you found contributory to what's going on in their lake? Those are some of the things that they might be asking, and rightfully so. They have the right to ask that. So, and I don't know for sure, but I will ask for anybody who has questions so that that night, we get the most out of our time. Maybe send your questions ahead of time to give you an opportunity to answer them so that we can make the best use of time. Who should the questions be emailed to?
Me for now.
Okay, so just tell, basically right now I'm saying anybody,
Me and Mark, I'll say, copy to both of them.
okay.
You're welcome.
All right, so any questions that you have, this is for anybody who please share with your neighbors as well, questions you have regarding the flooding issues and the drone study, anything like that, please email your questions ahead of time as soon as you can to Mr. Mayor and Mr. DiCarlo. And let's talk about a potential date for the special meeting. Are you available, how much time do you need, Sue?
I need at least 4 days to get it in the newsletter. If I put it in tomorrow, it would be on a Friday, 48 hours after that. So figure maybe 6 days,
Okay.
I guess. But let's also see what's put up on the agenda. You've got summertime and all that good stuff. So
Well,
let's see.
I know we have only one meeting this month, so it's probably one of the best months to have a special meeting in, because we're not having 3 then.
I'm pretty much available anytime this month.
Desiree, want to maybe say 2 weeks from today, since it would have been the council meeting date anyway?
Okay.
And it gives enough
24th.
time to get questions in and get
The 24th.
answers.
Good idea.
Yeah.
The 24th, is
Yeah.
that what that is?
July 24th.
Are you available on the 24th?
Yeah.
I was actually asking the main character. Without him, we
I
have,
am the main character. I am the main
You're
You're a
character.
character.
yes, all right, so we're gonna make it for the 24th. So please bring any questions that you may have, any comments.
Time?
You just
Maybe
said
6:30?
6:30?
6:30, yes.
6:30.
That's preferable.
Can I ask one quick question real quick though? Just
Yes,
question.
go ahead.
Just, the pamphlet that you guys have or whatever you got in the reading, is there any way that we can, I can get one of those?
It'll be on the website tomorrow, the town website.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, all right, everyone is good for I said it, I didn't write it down, the 24th,
Mhm.
Desiree, can you make it at 7 instead of 6:30?
7?
Please.
Okay, yeah, you see patients, is 7 okay? Yeah, okay, 7's okay? Uh-oh,
Thank you, Desiree.
you're welcome.
I'm just gonna move it up.
Okay. 7 PM on the 24th.
And you
Okay,
want to have specifically in there, lake-specific questions will not be answered?
Well,
what's
it
that?
should be
You wanna have
strictly
that.
focused on.
Any, say one more?
Lake-specific questions will not be answered at this meeting?
No,
Anyone-
no,
anything
that's
like
not,
that?
I think as simple, if they ask a question related to the lake, that doesn't, something we didn't, he can't answer, just say, oh, I don't know, I didn't study, I didn't see that, but I don't want to deter anybody from asking a question about the lake that maybe there is something he can answer.
How about may not be answered? Or we may not have the information for, something to that effect?
I wouldn't, you're talking about the ad?
No, the end is gonna be, you wanna have it as you wanna do it as a review of the drone study?
A review of the drone study.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
we'll advertise that.
Yeah.
can't answer all the late questions.
Excuse me, Andy, you want me to bring a flash drive?
Yeah.
Put it up on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Or you
That
can
would
even
be
email it to me and I can get it to WCTV. And he can put it on the screen through the entire meeting.
That would be,
I've tried emailing my electronic copy. It's too big.
oh,
The
yeah.
mail servers won't handle it. Even I tried zipping it. It's still too big.
It takes
How
a
about we
flash
do
drive.
both?
Can we put the flash drive in there?
Yeah, I have it, so
Okay.
of this report, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have it, so I'll set it up so when you're here for the meeting, it's all set.
And I'll also share with the person, the president of the Lake Association, that the drone did not capture anything on the lake particularly,
Yes,
so
that's
that he can disseminate
Right.
that information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they are still, I'm sure, going to want to come in case
Oh.
there is some kind of anything related to it, so.
Yeah, we just don't want to bog the meeting down with a lot of questions that he can't answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Thanks,
and
Frank. Good to
Thank
see you
you
again.
for your presentation. All right. We're just going to break for 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
taxes liability program. Just in becoming in compliance with that, we just had to assign you a couple of trainings that shouldn't take too long. So if if that's where the kindly and respectfully come in, if you can please try and get those done. And then the second kind request is part of us also becoming in compliance with our Tier A municipal stormwater general permit. I'm going to have to give you some additional training requests, like a 45-minute video that we have to watch on, you're watching it, huh? On stormwater management. So over the next couple of weeks, if we could get that done, that would help me very much. And that's my update. Thank you, Council President.
Sorry. Thank you, allergies. Okay. Did you send us the training video things already, the link?
The stormwater one, not yet. Mr. Rossi's just going to send me that tomorrow with the recap of who has to do it.
Okay.
And then we did get the invitation from MSI, from the Mel Safety Institute. I can resend it.
It wouldn't have come from you, it would have came from them?
Yes, it would have, yeah.
Was
It's
it
just-
individually or was it something I sent? That it was what? to each
No, it's
person, right?
individually, so the system sends it to you. So I just click a button, I can resend it.
Okay.
And some of you have already done it and already done the trainings as well, so I appreciate that.
So
Thank you.
I looked through my emails, I was,
Yeah, it won't come from me. I think it actually comes from something called Bystrainer.
oh, I saw that. I just
That's
get
it.
so much junk
Yeah.
email and I'm
It
so
does
afraid.
look like junk mail.
Right,
I'll
I saw
resend
that.
it.
I saw two. I saw
Yeah.
two things.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, note to self, don't,
It's
Get
enlightening
ahead of it.
training. You'll,
okay. All right. Report of mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Relatively short report since we're into the summer. Police Department news. Officer Ian O'Hanlon participated in the Special Olympics torch run. The Junior Police Academy was conducted from June 26th to June 30th. Most of the officers contribute in some way to make this a successful event. I was pleased to be invited to and attend the graduation ceremony along with Councilwoman Velez. Recreation news. The summer 2023 summer camp started on Monday, June 26th. The program continues its success with over 500 participants this year. The Introduction to Cheer program also continues to show an increase in registration from previous seasons. There are now over 50 registrants this season. If you would like to volunteer to help with the program, please contact Dan Scudieri via email for more details. Fire Department news. For the month of June, the department responded to multiple alarm calls, odors of natural gas, wires down, and one mutual aid standby in Paramus for a working fire. The department also assisted the Junior Police Academy with a demonstration and later in the week stood by for the helicopter landing. DPW news. Grass and yard debris continue to be collected weekly. Due to the Independence Day holiday, household bulk debris is being collected this week. They had camera inspections performed on the sanitary sewer lines for the roads in this year's road improvement program. A bin to store clay at Clark Field was constructed. The poles on the Cleveland Ave path were removed, most of which had already rotted away. They participated in the library's Touch a Truck program and picked up lantern fly traps from the county. Library news. Summer reading kicked off with a bang on Friday, June 23rd. A special thanks to the DPW for all their work and time on the annual Touch a Truck event on June 28th. Another special thanks to Lifesavers, Inc. for donating multiple CPR AED classes to the library for our residents for National CPR Week, which was June 1st to the 8th. The month ended with their annual Shark Week events, which are always well received. The library will be having a wine tasting fundraiser on Saturday, July 22nd. Tickets are $50 per person. Seatings are at 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., and each seating offers 2 hours to explore a variety of wines and food pairings sponsored by Stu Leonard's of Paramus, while listening to live music sponsored by the Chelsea of Washington Township. Call or visit our website to purchase tickets. That's the library website, not the town one. Please check the newsletter or library's website for more summer fun. Municipal Alliance news. The following programs were supported in June: the high school prom and drunk driving programming, Junior Police Academy. Starting July 8th, the second year of Safety Township. This program is geared for 5 and 6-year-olds and meets every Saturday in July. Children learn valuable safety lessons. Washington school traffic and safety issues. The administrator and I met with the town engineer and police chief today to recap what was discussed at the larger meeting that took place in May, where many ideas were brought up. We will compare our notes and look forward to reconvene the larger group in the next couple of weeks. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I just, just a question, as far as reconvene with the larger groups, can you just email me, the details and I can send that out to the committee meeting? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And, okay, Councilman Sears?
Thank you, Council President. Let's start off with the green team. The green team got involved and planted 19 trees down at Clark Field. That project is completed, and we've basically done with Clark Field, and we'll be looking now at Gardner. The bridge project, that's the bridge over the brook, we planted 27 different types of variety of flowers. We spread wood chips. We should totally be completed probably within another week. I definitely want to give a shout out to the DPW workers who assisted us, and hopefully this will complete that project. Like the mayor said, the rotten woods were all removed. They were not just thrown out. We reused some of the logs to along the bank to secure the bank so we can complete. If you go down there, we actually added a bird bath and some decorations along the path. So the green team and the volunteers did an outstanding job on that. We will be completing that in a couple of weeks. We can't move all that wood chips. It's soaking wet right now, so hopefully it will dry. The mayor mentioned about the lantern flies and putting the bags up. We put in for about 75 of those things, and we received 10. So we're going to reapply, and hopefully we can get some more to spread it throughout the town. Every park now has those fly traps, Memorial Field, the path, and I believe we covered most of them. The biggest item that the green team's now working on is a handicap swing set for Clark Field. We were approached a couple of months ago about putting a handicap swing set up for our disabled children in the town. I thought it was kind of an easy thing to do, but it took a lot of work. I want to thank Council President Morgan and Ms. Feeney. She's not here, for lending their hand and assistance. George Toole, who assisted me on the measurements of that day. The administrator and the mayor, and thank God that we have a good town engineer, because he actually told us about the ADA compliance, and it was really a lot, but I think we're at a good path right now. Talk to the grant writer. There might be some money for us also. So just stay tuned, and I'll give you an update as we go forward on that. The VFW post did install a drop-off box for flags, American flags. It's in the front of the library. The VFW post paid for the box. So that's it. I'm done. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
That was a lot, Tom.
Yeah.
That was good.
Councilman Casio.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope everyone's having a great summer. I do have a couple programs I want people to be aware of through the state of New Jersey to help pay for some of your bills. I'm going to go through 4 of them. So if you're at home watching, take out a piece of paper and jot these numbers down. So there are 4 programs that I was investigating, and it can help some of our residents that are having difficulty paying some bills. The first one is called the Lifeline Program. And this Lifeline program provides annual energy benefits to qualified seniors and the disabled. The benefit can help eligible homeowners with their electric and/or natural gas costs. You can apply for Lifeline by using what they call a New Jersey Save application. This is all on the New Jersey government website. Let me give you a phone number if you have difficulty finding that. Their number is 1-800-792-9745. I'll repeat that again, 1-800-792-9745. So that's a program if you're having trouble meeting some of your bills. There's another one that's called the New Jersey Low Income Household Water Assistance Program. Obviously, that's for issues if you have trouble paying your water bill. It's a temporary grant that provides forgiveness for overdue water bills and sewage balances, which doesn't really apply in town. So that is good. And I'll give you their number. Their number is 1-800-510-3102. Again, that's 1-800-510-3102. That's the second program. The third program, I think, is a pretty good one because, as you know, our energy bills have skyrocketed for various reasons that are uncontrollable. This one's called the PAGE program, and it stands for the Payment Assistance for Gas and Electric, and provides relief on gas and electric bills for low and moderate income New Jersey households. Let's see. You can apply online, or if you have questions, you can call the following number. That's 732-982-8710. And their website is www.njpoweron.org. Again, that's www.njpoweron.org. And the last one is a nonprofit, and that also helps you with energy as well as telephone bills if you're having trouble paying that, and your broadband internet, water and tax and mortgage bills. So let me read that one to you. So this is NJ Shares, is a nonprofit organization that provides assistance to eligible income New Jersey households paying those areas which I said: energy, telephone, broadband or internet, water, tax, and mortgage bills. And their phone number is 1-866-657-4273. Again, 1-866-657-4273. And I will give this information to our clerk. And if you can post it on the bulletin board and do our website, that would be great. So a little help getting some of your tax dollars back to pay for some of your needs. Other than that, I just wish everyone a continued safe summer. It's going to get hot out there, so just try and stay cool. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Councilman Casio and Councilman
Oh,
Sears,
good
for your
Yeah,
updates.
there are.
And thank you. Obviously, you're both doing a lot of work. So I received an email from a resident regarding rusted equipment and park maintenance, specifically at Gardner Field. Upsetting enough, there was more graffiti noted. So I spoke with the administrator, who informed me that he and the chief of police and DPW leadership, they've all been in touch. With regard to the equipment, the council did approve $30,000 in this year's budget for replacement and repair of our most damaged equipment. So we will be following up to get that done. Mr. DiCarlo says that he and the superintendent of rec are going to be planning next steps as far as how to, replace that equipment. I also, wanted to know how often the DPW maintains the parks, specifically, again, Gardner Field, because the resident had complained there was mulch growing, grass growing up through the mulch. And I was informed that there is a routine maintenance. So there's been a lot of sunshine, and now that there's been a lot of rain, I guess we're going to see a fast-growing, weeds are, fast-growing. So hopefully we can just pay a little more attention to that. And then as far as the graffiti goes, there will be capability to view our parks day and night. The cameras are in place. So, anybody who, if your children are, I don't know if it's children, I'm not even going to say that. I guess we'll wait to see who gets caught. So we'll see what's going on. I just hope that everybody's kind of conveying, this is the most beautiful town. Our town it is still a bedroom community. I'd love to keep it this way. It's a safe town. Doors are left unlocked, cars are left unlocked often. And for the most part, it's a safe town. To see graffiti and it just undermines the beauty of this area. So let's talk to our littles as they're growing and teach them to have a lot more respect for the community that they live in. Again, I'm assuming this is a child. I don't know many adults that are running around, tagging up places. So the sooner we can get that equipment, the rust at least, remedied, whether it's replace the equipment or repair it, the better, because right now this particular resident is not even allowing her child to play there anymore, and that's a shame. In addition to that, and kind of rolls into that, the littles that I have, the cheer program has really grown this year. As the mayor mentioned in his report, we actually have 56 as of July 1st when the program closed. We have 56 kindergarten and first graders. So luckily I have angels that are my volunteers and have been my volunteer coaches for the last couple of years. And they've come back this year and they're in high school and they can choose to get paid. In another town, our sister town, they can choose to get paid, but they decided to stay with us and volunteer. So I think that speaks volumes about the kids in our town, the children that we've raised through this program, because I did have them when they were younger in the program, and the relationships that were built. So we have some incredible teenagers as well. I'm super proud. All right, so then the cheer program we will be starting at Gardner Field. August 5th will be our very first practice. They will be on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and they run straight through to Town Day where they have their performance. So hopefully you can, make it out to Town Day and see them there, but there'll be a lot more update between now and then. The Washington School Traffic Flow Committee, Mr. Mayor already gave you the update on that, but I just would like to be looped in to make sure that I can make sure all of the residents who expressed concern and had some really great suggestions are fully aware that there's going to be another follow-up meeting. And that is all I have for tonight's report. All right. Everyone on? Okay, so general public comment, we're going to limit this to 5 minutes. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, please click on the link below to join the webinar. If by phone, it's *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. Each person wishing to address the council should give his or her name for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. There will be a 5-minute limit. Speakers are to direct all questions to the council president. All members of the public and council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted, and the council president will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. Motion to open.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let the record reflect. Also in attendance now is Councilwoman Feeney.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The coaching commitment, this is a reading.
Thank you for your volunteering. It's unfortunate that it's the timing.
Everything rained out, it's been insane, all the fields are flooded.
Yeah. All right, is there anybody that would like to come up? You can come on up.
It's working?
Yes.
Good. Rosa Dunbar, 423 Colonial Boulevard, Washington Township, of course. I just want to give a recommendation to one of our council people, Mr. Cassio, because one morning I woke up and did not find the American flag flying on my telephone pole. It's not only my telephone pole. So I figured out, who am I going to get in touch? There was a time when we could get in touch with every council person. Now you disappear after the council. You cannot call anybody. But Mr. Cassio is still in the yellow pages.
Showing my
So
age.
I explained the situation, and he says he'll see what he can do about it. But in the meantime, I figured out, well, I can't call Mr. Calamari because he disappeared from Washington Township with his office, so I can't go there. So I figured out let me call our administrator. So I spoke to the secretary, Renata, and she probably gave you the message, and you did call me back, and the flag came down the whole street 2 weeks before the 4th of July, and nobody knew what happened. But our administrator, I guess, solved the problem, called up whomever, and you also should get a gold star with Mr. Cassio. Another problem we have is on Colonial Boulevard with this speeding. Now, I'm sure the council knows that Colonial Boulevard goes from east to west and west to east. It stops with all the advertisement with the speed of, what do you call the screening at Times Square. And you have all kinds of signs down that end, but you forgot the northern end. What are who's the difference? What's the difference between us at one end of Colonial and the other ones down below Lincoln? They get everything and we get nothing. We don't even have a $25 speed limit signs. Number two, we need the board by Kenneth. Because once they pass the signs down below Lincoln, they speed up and they got to hit their brake and to make that turn. We have a Route 17 situation on Colonial Boulevard. Wait till school starts with the hot rod mamas. Something has to be done about Colonial. I mean, let's face it, the cops can pass by with their cars. We need unmarked cars because there's too much speeding there. And it's not the trucks. And I hate to say it, it's mostly women. Because I can look out my window and see who's driving. But my eyes have to work fast because, they're going more than 35 miles an hour on Colonial Boulevard. The minute they pass Lincoln, zoom right up to Washington Avenue. And the police can't do anything because they're not there. They know, they probably have radar in their car. They know what's going on. Unmarked cars, let them borrow one of the road department
1
cars.
minute left, Rosa.
What?
1 minute left.
1 minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. But we should be more in touch with the council people, with the telephones. You disappear after election.
You can stay at the podium, Mrs. Dambra. I can speak to you if you'd like. So I said you could stay at the podium because I'm just going to talk to you for a second. Yes. So what I'm going to do.
That'll make it more than 5 minutes.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to tell you. So we are all still accessible, but I understand. I don't know if you look on the website or not. I'm going to give a piece of paper to you with everyone's phone number.
I
on here.
don't have a computer or a cell phone.
That's why I'm going to give you
I use
this.
the yellow pages.
Yeah, unfortunately,
if I have to get in touch with it, except for the town calendar.
So my husband
And
is
of course, I always speak to our wonderful
Yeah.
township clerk. and her assistant.
So just so you're aware, my husband is a police officer, so we're not allowed to be, well, we choose not to be listed in the phone book, so we have to. So that's why we go by a cell phone, and it's available on the website, but I understand you don't have a computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a piece of paper with all of our phone numbers, which is listed already for everybody. We are absolutely available to you. So I'm sorry that you felt that we weren't accessible. That's a terrible feeling. And
Well,
I, you know,
how
I
about
am your
making it-
neighbor, so
how-
you can always find me.
How about making it accessible on the calendars like they used to?
a great
Everybody's
idea.
face was on the and we also knew who the police were in town. Anybody can ring your doorbell with a uniform on. But I like to see who's
That's a
who.
really good suggestion, actually. I'm glad that,
I
I
think
know,
we
I
have
don't
21
remember.
police in the town. 21 police. 21, you know,
Yeah,
Officers.
correct.
yeah, 21. I don't even know who they are. All I see is the cars and the license plate for the car, for the police car.
That's good. It means you're a law-abiding citizen. You don't need
That's,
to know that.
that's it.
All right,
But,
so maybe we
uh,
can add, maybe at least with
You
the
can get in
council.
touch with you people when it's election time, but not after that.
How would you get in touch with us at election time? I just want to be very clear. You can get in touch with me whether it's election, not election, or I'm no longer a sitting council person. I'm going to give you my phone number.
Work as fast as the administrator, because the flag went on the pole, we should be very, for our republic, we should have the flags flying from May till after the 4th of July.
You got it.
And our
Is,
Veterans Day.
is there anyone else that would like to come up? Come on up. Rosa, if you want the paper, I'll give you our number.
Oh,
Yeah. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pass it around. You can sit wherever you'd like.
okay, I'll wait.
All right.
Julie Lipnick, 184 Finity Place. To echo what you said, Council President, about your cheer volunteers, I have to tell you, I really would like to commend the counselors for the summer camp. I'm floored. I really am. They were walking with the children from the theater the other day, and I was outside. And one of the boys turned to the little ones and said, "You must respect other people's property. You can't just go walking on their grass." Blow me over. I looked at this boy. I was absolutely floored. I thanked him, and with that, he looked at the young children. He said, "And she's a resident. You can say hello to her." I have to say, and this was not the first time, but I have to commend whoever hired whatever the interview process. My kids are out of that so long ago, but it was really, really lovely to see such respect come. So ditto to that one.
Yep.
I was teasing the mayor before my song, you know, I see fields of green and yellow flowers too. It's really nice to look out across the street and see bushes flowering. But I have one small request, if I may. I know the DPW, they've been doing due diligence, trying to water them and keep them alive. And I was just wondering, with the wood chips that we have, can we put some down on that berm so it can hold the water and secure those plants? Plus, it would look much nicer too. But if it was at all possible, I think it would be a nice addition. And I also have a big thanks for the DPW, because to see them out there I know it's their job, but they work their little tails off. And they even went out of their way last week to do something for us when it was off schedule. So they kind of know too that they can ring the doorbell if they're like, "We're thirsty." It's like, "Here you go. How much do you need?" But I thank you all. And please do pass it on to who's ever in charge of that rec hiring, because they've done a great job.
Thank you.
I will, thank you.
You definitely will. So nice to hear good things. Thank you.
I just want to say, I agree. I think the administration does a great job.
with the rec director, and he's doing a great job. We're hearing lots of accolades and positivity, and the kids are having a lot of fun. We're getting a lot of kids from other towns. We're getting kids from other towns, not just, because that's how good our program is.
Council President, if I may, there's two things. The DPW routinely replaces, replenishes the mulching location. So I know they're doing Memorial Field, I think either this week or next week. So we'll have some replenished on Finnerty. And second, it was always our intention for the flags to stay up past July 4th. But the superintendent was out for a few days and there was a misunderstanding with the DPW. So they took them down, but they very quickly put them back up. So.
They were eager.
Is there anybody else that would like to come up? You can come up.
Jeff Rogers, Woodfield Road. Question, when are the estimated tax bills going to be mailed?
Tomorrow.
Okay, that's not soon enough. What else? Also, I want to talk about traffic on the streets. Just like, I couldn't hear her name, but could we install speed humps on some of these streets? Not speed bumps, speed humps,
Yeah,
where
like a
if you're going the speed limit, it does, you're not going to feel it. Walking around the lake, I see, and passing me, I feel there are a lot of cars that are speeding.
Yeah.
And I've come close with my wife of almost being hit several times. So with all the kids around, there was one hit up by Martini Park a number of years ago, riding a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just ridiculous what they do on the side roads. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, everyone's, the town's doing a great job lately. So I just want to say that usually people come here and complain.
Thank you.
Okay.
I agree with you with the speed humps back by Woodfield and Chestnut and all of that over there. I have seen it, and it is concerning because everyone uses that as like a jogging path or a bike path, and there aren't sidewalks. So yeah, I hear you with that. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
So maybe we can have the traffic officer look at that to see if it's possible, maybe,
Yeah.
especially if he could take a look at Colonial, I think that's a big one, and then also, the,
Woodfield.
no, but not where Woodfield is, but where they come around, there's a split there, I find that it's.
Chestnut and
Yeah,
Chestnut and Sussex.
yeah, that's where I find that it's speeding, is if it's.
There's also missing stop signs. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You probably know the area because you walk it. Between Chestnut and Sussex, there's not a yield. It just goes. And now that I have new drivers or permitted drivers, I don't necessarily know how to tell them except expect the unexpected. Like, I don't know what to tell them. The way that the streets go. So I don't know why there aren't stop signs or yield signs or something in those areas, but there's a bunch of pockets in town. Who looks at that?
I I'd like to infrequently bring up my days as police chief, but the MUTCD actually governs when there should be a stop sign, the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices. And then township ordinance also supports that. So if you'd seen one in the past and there's not one there now, then that's a problem. But not every intersection, especially on side streets, depending on volume.
Okay.
There you're not going to always see stop signs. So that's most likely the consideration. And, again, just as police chief, and I'm not saying I support them or don't support them, but the speed humps and speed bumps were probably the most requested item that I've, ever could even fathom. And again, that manual dictates when a speed bump or speed hump can be placed in. So a traffic study definitely has to be done. And again, there's good, there's pros and cons to them. And there's a lot of unintended consequences that come with putting in speed bumps, such as sound, racing between speed bumps, delaying, emergency response, snow plowing. So it does, again, I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. It's not my decision to do that, but they sound like great ideas, but oftentimes they don't satisfy the intended, hope for it satisfying. So I just wanted to put that out there again, but I will certainly, convey that to the police department and start where we need to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was just going to echo that, to tell Mrs. DeAmbra and Mr. Rogers that after each meeting now, we meet with the police chief and go over any items that fall into traffic or safety. So we will pass these along to him.
Wonderful. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come up? No? Okay, motion to close public comment?
No, I'm on.
No, no one's on.
Nope, no hands are raised.
Motion closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, adoption, second reading, ordinance number 23-07, an ordinance under Chapter 87 of the Code of Township of Washington, setting forth the rate of compensation and manner of payment of employees for the year 2023. Resolution number 23-262, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 23-07. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Is there any discussion or? Nothing, okay. No one wants, okay. Motion to close public hearing for ordinance 23-07.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 23-07 at second reading by title.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call, please.
Councilman Casio?
No.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Ordinance number 23-08, bond ordinance appropriating $1,400,000 and authorizing the issuance of $1,340,500 bonds or notes of the township for various improvements or purposes authorized to be undertaken by the Township of Washington in the County of Bergen, New Jersey. Resolution number 23-263, authorize second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 23-08.
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Any discussion? No. Motion to close public hearing for ordinance 23-08.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 23-08 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Sorry.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Ordinance number 23-09, ordinance providing for the acquisition of vehicular equipment by the Township of Washington in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, and appropriating $80,000 therefore constituting proceeds of obligations of the township heretofore issued. Jeez. Resolution number 23-264, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 23-09.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Motion to, oh, sorry, any discussion? No.
No.
Okay, motion to close public hearing for ordinance 23-09.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Sue.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 23-09 at second reading by title.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Introduction, first reading, ordinance number 23-10, an ordinance prescribing fees for use of township facilities. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 23-10 at first reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney?
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Council President Morgan?
Yes. Resolution number 23-265, authorizing publication of ordinance number 23-10 and schedule public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Ordinance number 23-11, an ordinance amending tree removal provisions with respect to permitting within the Township of Washington. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 23-11 at first reading by title.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Resolution number 23-266, authorizing publication of ordinance number 23-11 and schedule public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez. Sorry, Council President Morgan.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The following items have been determined to have unanimous consent of council. Okay, ready? Okay. Resolutions and consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from consent agenda. Is there any resolution that anyone would like removed?
Can you just take 23-284 off for separate?
Sure. Anything else? 23-284. Anyone else? No? Okay. All right, so resolution number 23-267, resolution number 23-268, resolution number 23-269, resolution number 23-270, resolution number 23-271, resolution number 23-272, resolution number 23-273, resolution number 23-274, resolution number 23-275, resolution number 23-276, resolution number 23-277, resolution number 23-278, resolution number 23-279, resolution number 23-280, resolution number 23-281, resolution number 23-282, resolution number 23-283, resolution number 23-285, resolution number 23-286. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay, resolution number 23-284 for discussion.
Just a separate vote.
Separate vote, okay. Okay, what is it?
So you need a motion?
Okay, motion to approve,
Motion.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Council President Morgan.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to adjourn to conference agenda. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Township Employee Health Insurance, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
Mhm.
As everyone knows from budget time, the state health insurance plan went up significantly this year, and we're not seeing an end to it for probably next year either. So we have been researching different alternatives to look at. One is standing out, and it's called the difference card. And how it works, and Mark, please feel free to jump in any place. We would go from direct 10 to direct, which is it? I forget. Yeah, if you don't. Yeah, please go ahead.
So right now, this is the best option, the difference card. We've gone through all of our options, which included looking through other insurance brokers, other insurance programs, And we've either been told, they can't even come close to providing the, benefits that our current members have, or they've declined to quote. So the difference card has been gaining some popularity, especially in Bergen County with some of our neighbors, Saddlebrook being probably the closest, and they've had it for a while. The concept of the difference card is to pay lower premiums so everyone will continue to have the Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right now, we have about 5 members that have Direct 15. The remainder of the members that obtain health insurance from the township have Direct 10. Obviously comes with certain premium, which is very high. It's very good insurance. We would move the members to a Direct 20/35 plan, which lowers the premium. There's an automatic cost savings by doing that. We then contract with the difference card. The township pays a fee for the difference card for each member, therefore restoring the original benefits to the member of the Direct 10. So it reduces some of the savings. However, there's a humongous overall saving to the township, as well as there being a very significant savings to our members. So the enjoyment of lower premiums is enjoyed by the township and the employee. So, I've been through numerous presentations. The first one, I think, wasn't difficult to understand because it's difficult to understand. I was just looking for some, magical moment where it made sense, but it's such a simple concept. So right now we pay a certain amount for Direct 10, Direct 15. We're going to pay a lower premium for Direct 20/35. We then pay the cost for the difference card, which is roughly about $65 a member per month. It just reduces our savings, so we're not spending any more money. Therefore, restoring the benefits. So essentially what would happen in a live scenario is you would go to the doctor's office, your primary care doctor, and because you technically have Direct 20 or Direct 35, they think your copay is $20. You're swiping the benefits card, which then tells the doctor's office that the copay is only $10. So the difference card has $10 on it. Therefore, the member only has to pay $10. So nothing's changing. The only thing that would be added is there's what we would call like a slight clerical inconvenience. So if it's an out-of-network provider, there would be some responsibility for the member to submit the claim to the difference card and have it paid. So we've, on top of having many meetings with union leaders, union representatives, township attorney, inviting the union members' attorneys and such, and also information that we've provided from the difference card. There's 4 options. There's, the old good old way of faxing and mailing, but it's also uploading. As simple as, as explained to us, if you could take a picture with your cell phone, you can upload the thing. So, not that I don't want to throw out numbers, but what they were quoting is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is after paying for the difference card of $65 a member. It's like 64 and change, 95. The township is looking to save at a minimum around $170,000. An employee, the savings is better if they are on a higher salary bracket, therefore contributing more towards their premium and having a family. So I think 110,000 is the highest salary bracket where you're contributing 35% of the premium. That individual that now has a family plan would be saving approximately $3,400 a year.
That's great.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like we've really turned over every rock, have researched this to the nth degree. We would be working with Trinity Brokerage. So we have the idea of the difference card. We also met with different insurance companies, insurance brokers, and picked the one that we thought was going to be the most beneficial and favorable to the township. And right now that is Trinity Brokerage. So we would actually have two entities for members to work with if they had a problem. So again, the con in this situation would be there, if a person's going to add a network, they'd have a little bit more clerical work on their hands as opposed to, it being they'd have to submit it to the difference card. The difference card has given us statistics indicating that less than a 48-hour turnaround, the member can choose whether, the money comes to the individual member or if they want the difference card to pay the doctor's office themselves. So, there is some control that the member still has. Is there anything,
Yeah, I'd like to add, we had, I want to say, a minimum of 4 presentations for the employees to listen. Both the broker from both Trinity and the difference card were in attendance to explain. Rightfully so, there is a lot of nervousness about doing something new. We understand that. But we can't ignore the savings that it brings the taxpayers for what should be the same when all is said and done to the members. What I'm here to ask, because in checking with Ken on it, there's no way we can bind future councils or even this council from doing something in the future. What I would like to do is try this for a year with the understanding that if it doesn't work, we go back to Direct 10 or look for other options, because we value our employees. We don't want to do anything to hurt them. But I think it's something that, we need to try. What I will ask the employees to do, and, will probably require a HIPAA type release, is if they're having trouble, let either myself or Mark or someone else in town hall know right then. I don't want to save it up for 6 months and then hear all the problems they're having. So if they're having a problem, they bring it to us. We go to the brokers respectively and say, hey, this isn't what you promised us. But I would ask that the council for next year's budget not cut the health insurance premium line item until the following year in case we have to go back. So I would hope we would start to see the savings next year, but I don't want to bring it down and then have to bring it back up should it not be working out. So, anything we don't use, as we know, goes into surplus after a couple of years. So, and then hopefully it works out. And so this would just be a 1-year thing that then after next year, we could safely reduce that line item in the budget. So I think, you can ask any questions about the health insurance or anything, but we understand we can't ask this council or future council to do anything in the future to, even do a resolution or anything that says you agree not to reduce that line item should this not work out.
Well, when would this kick in, the insurance?
Ideally, we'd like to start it October 1st for the last quarter of the year to start at that boundary.
So really, if you're giving it a year,
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't need it for next year, the same money, because.
Well, I'm asking to not cut it in case we have to go back to the Direct 10 in October of next
2024.
Right,
But that would only give you 2 more years. No, you'd have to wait 1 more year after.
right, yes. Mhm.
I have a few questions. So
Yeah,
for
please.
the Direct 20 and the Direct 35, how much does it increase their deductible?
I believe it goes from 100 to
Increases.
100 to 800.
Okay, so
But they're
then,
not
But the
actually,
difference card makes that up also.
so is that a guarantee though? Because what about out-of-network coverage because I have Direct 10 personally, and I know the Direct 20, 35 plan. So I know that when you move up to the next, there's also a different level of service that you get too. So how does that impact the employees with the existing doctors that they haven't taken the survey that way?
Well, we were led to understand
Yeah,
all
no one
existing
has-
doctors
yeah,
and
you don't have to choose
facilities
any new
are the
doctor.
same.
Okay,
it's all
And-
still
and-
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The difference card is underwritten by an insurance company.
okay.
Because should it exceed what we are paying them, we needed some assurance. And they said, of course, yeah, we're underwritten that, hey, if it exceeds what you're paying us, we have underwriting for that, and that's all on there, right?
So the $700 per employee difference between direct 10 would be covered completely, and that would not come out of pocket.
Yes, so the difference card restores all of the benefits to Direct 10, from your primary care visit of $10 to your emergency room visit to your out of net. The only thing that I guess is the most significant is until you reach that maximum of 800, you're submitting
The claims.
the claims
to-
back to the difference card.
Okay, and then does the money go to their income? Does any of the money from the difference card hit their W-2? Any of the employees or no?
I think that came up because it's not income. It's
just
a
making
continuation of benefits. So I don't believe, but do you recall
No,
that,
we
Mark?
talked about it being whether it was pre-tax deduction
Right.
or.
Well, that was on the
Right.
premiums they're paying, not
Yeah.
for the benefit they, I
Yeah,
think the reimbursement is a non-taxable event.
All right, can you
Yes.
just confirm that?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then also for the direct 2035, what's the percentage for the out-of-network benefits coverage is reduced? It goes, I think right now with direct 10, it's either 90 or 80%. Do you know what it goes down to for direct 20 and direct 35?
It's not supposed to change.
I don't know off the top of my
The
head
percentage change that they reimburse for.
what it goes to, but it would be restored to whatever Direct
It
10
would.
is.
So the difference
Everything
part-
is restored.
So the difference part, if there is a reduction in the percentage of out-of-network coverage, the
Mhm.
difference part is going to make up to whatever it was at direct 10.
Right.
Correct.
So the only significance of even telling you about the 2035 is because that's where the cost savings
Right.
is for
Okay.
us and the member. As far as benefits, everything is restored
Okay,
by the difference card
okay,
to what Direct 10 is.
okay.
So the only difference you have to do is swipe that card.
Okay.
And if you forget, you just go home and
And you submit it. So and then does the money on the difference card, is there a time period on it? Is it within the year that the policy is active? Or does it carry, so say you had a procedure in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is there like a time frame where they could submit post? Like what's the expiration of the money for the current year's plan? So say you submit later, you didn't get a bill, you got a bill late. Do you know what that
I mean, what
is?
the submission deadline
Yeah.
is.
Could you find that out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would, I don't want to make an assumption. I would guess-
Yeah.
I would guess it's the same,
Yeah, we have
the same as what the insurance company is, because you're getting exactly what the insurance company, the difference card isn't making up new rules for the.
No, right, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
But sure, yeah.
Because in case, like I've gotten late bills and had to submit
We
things.
all have,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
So like submission deadline is.
Yeah, and how does and then what happens to, if there's money left, what happens?
money left where.
We pay, if there's any money left that that we're paying for?
That's the benefit to the
Yes.
difference card.
They get it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hey, Mark, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Trinity, is that what they're called?
Trinity
Trinity.
brokerage, yeah.
Trinity Brokerage. Are they just a brokerage, or are they part of the are they a TPA? Are they administering those things through this card? Who's doing
I
that?
don't even know how to answer that question. I don't know how to
No.
explain. I don't, I'm
Third-
sorry, I don't know.
Are
how
they
to
a third-party
explain, like,
administrator?
I don't want to throw an answer out and then be wrong, but I totally understand your question.
The brokers usually
We'll
sell
get back to
the
you.
insurance.
Yeah,
So
let me get-
who's administering the thing? 'Cause if I have an insurance claim, I go to the broker. Oh, we don't handle that. Who's handling it?
No,
Because
we go right to, in that circumstance, you go right to the difference card. You don't
Okay,
have
so-
to go to the.
So they would be,
middleman.
they're the TPA of their own card.
Right, yeah, so
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Trinity
more like a
brokerage-
health savings account, and usually, trying to answer Ms. Feen's question, they make their money, they're hoping you don't use it, the $65
That's what I
a
want
month.
to know. If
So
this
it
claims
usually
percentage.
doesn't carry over, you pay the premium for the next year. So that's where they make they're hoping you don't use all that stuff. And,
That's why I want to know what the submission time is. Is there a way to extend it? Because like late doctor bills or claims or.
usually
say
if the
you get a
claim is made during
secondary-
that year, the coverage year, it's
No, no.
extended, yeah.
Right, no, I have it, but I'm saying like sometimes or there's a secondary bill that comes along that wasn't billed the first time within the submission time. I'd like to know what the Ts and Cs are for that so that the employees get the ability to submit so that they don't miss out on getting reimbursed. Just to make sure,
Everyone's
because
different.
it's seamless with Direct 10 and the time frame is right, so. and
That's the thing we're worried about.
Well, I understand the point, but at the same time, I think our employees are our most important asset and a lot of our employees are at the lower end of the pay scale. And I think that this is a benefit that we can afford to, I don't want to disrupt, like you said, you don't want to disrupt them. I
No,
feel the same.
not at all.
But,
That was my only question.
you were asking, like, if we would be willing to not take it out of the budget.
For 2024.
Yeah, I
correct.
would be willing. I think the savings is so significant, and as long as, it's an uninterrupted, they can still use their positions and nothing really changes, and we wind up, it's a win for them and a win for us, I'd
Yeah,
absolutely
but
be okay.
you don't find too often in life.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I'd be okay with leaving it in there for the just in case,
Right.
for 1 year.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
It wouldn't reduce the budget either.
I guess my other question is when you're talking about that line item, do you have to break it down into two? Another segment out for the insurance and the
Like in addition?
DPA? I mean, I'm talking about keeping the same,
I don't-
keeping the same balance, right?
That line has about 17 different things in it already. I don't
Well, that's
think-
what I'm asking.
It's health, dental,
Dental,
life
life,
insurance,
So
liability.
you can.
Yeah,
you can
it wouldn't
phase
be a
it.
problem.
Okay, all right, that's all.
Thank you for your opinions.
Yes,
and
very,
input. Yeah.
very good question.
Okay. All right, and then we don't have any ordinances, right? We have no financials, nothing going on there.
Nope.
All right, so motion to enter into closed session for resolution number 23-287, property acquisition.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second.
Second, sorry.
That's all right, it sounded so unsure. Can I have a,
Sorry, I'm sorry, what was that?
what's that?
I was reading something, sorry.
Oh, so it was resolution number 23-287, property
Oh.
acquisition. We're going to enter into closed session to
Yes.
discuss.
Second.
Okay. We will not be reconvening to the public. So this is going to adjourn now, and we will enter into closed. Motion, and you seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just hit a mistake.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I asked where Ken was.
Just
So-
say aye. Go.
Aye, sorry.
Stacy, no,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Councilman Sears motioned.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Feeney
Second.
seconded.
Thank you so much.